Are we live?
I think so.
All right.
Oh yeah, let me pull it up on my.
Yeah, let's make sure. I blew it last time, so I think it is. But I thought it was last time too. Oh wait, I see us.
Did I lose my phone?
See us?
I don't know where it went. Hold on, I think I see it.
Is something beeping? Are you beeping, Nikki?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Let me.
Yeah, no problem.
Stop it. I think it's my microwave.
Okay. To the moon and back says yes. We are live, so that's good. At least
Here I come.
So we got that figured out. Well, hello everyone, Salima. Welcome to today. Welcome to today.
Welcome to today.
May 7th, 2025. Right, 2020. I realized yesterday. Was it yesterday? A couple days ago, I went through. I was working out, and I've been writing 2024 since 2024. So, however many months we are into 2025, I'm still in the previous year. So. It's a miracle that I made it today to the show. It's a miracle every week when I actually show up. So today we are doing our, even though we still have it's technically like next week. What is it? Next Monday or Tuesday, the full moon. We're going to do our full moon special today because we want to cover all the upcoming full moon stuff before it actually arrives. And then next week, just so you guys know, I'm not going to be here. Nikki, I think we're taking the day off, right?
Yeah. I'm going to get nature in, I think. You're going to be
okay.
You're going to be visiting a place. I think I'll go visit.
Yeah, supposedly we're going to Moscow, but there have been a lot of drone attacks and stuff, and the airports keep shutting down. I suspect most of them will occur this week leading up to 9 May. So happy Victory Day, anybody out there who celebrates that. If you don't know, that is the day when the Russians defeated single-handedly Germany. At least that's how you would think it went down over here. But to be fair, they did. What's the percentage? They say like 80% of it was them that defeated the German army. So it's a really, really big deal here. When you see all the ICBMs and stuff going through Times Square, through Red Square, and you see like all the Russian soldiers and stuff, and they show these clips like propaganda, like it's so like the Russians are all getting ready to conquer the whole world. They're just showing clips from their Victory Day parade. They have it every year. It's just a big parade where they all celebrate because if you don't, I didn't mean to go on this. rabbit hole.
I was pulling up the chart. This is cool. No, I'm into that stuff.
Yeah. So 27 million Russians died in World War II. And they never talk about it because obviously Russia's the bad guy. So we always have to, they're always the aggressor. We can't ever see them in as a victim. So they had like a huge bottleneck, like not quite, maybe we wouldn't call it a genetic bottleneck, but certainly after the war, men were hard to come by of breeding age. So there was they're still in recovery from World War II population wise. So yeah, it's a really big holiday. And, some country, another country, and their leader said that he couldn't be held responsible for any terrorist attacks or anything that happened this week. So things are kind of crazy. They've already shut down the airport over there a few times a week. But I promised myself, even though I'm realizing this more and more about myself as a militant Virgo, that I don't like to go anywhere. I've traveled all over the world and it's fun when you're doing it, but if left to my own devices, I will not go anywhere. I will stay in my house. I will adventure around the city and have, fun. I'll do fun stuff here, but to actually go on vacation. Now I say vacation, it's literally 2 nights. 2 nights. And I'm going to be like, oh my God, I want to go home. I want to sleep on my own floor. I just want to be in my own space. I do think that might be a Virgo thing. Most of the strong Virgos I've seen
we were talking about that on this weekend. We were talking about that, and I was actually thinking, we were talking about Virgo and the you and the don't touch me and
don't touch me. If anybody out there, if you guys are like that, so we talked to there were a couple of us I think on the call. We were talking about different characteristics that we can attribute to one sign or the other. But the one I was curious about, and I can't with 100% certainty say that this is how we are, but most of the Virgos, strong Virgos, because they're real independent and they're in their own space, a lot of times it seems like they don't like to be touched. I definitely fall into that category. But I don't know. I think it's different for everyone. Nikki, entertain my tease.
Yeah, I think so too. And I kind of have a little theory about that. Like strong Virgo placements in what am I trying to say? Like in opposition or in square to Mars, like those strong aspects. That's what I was thinking is what kind of triggers that, because I'm kind of like like ew, like don't touch me. I don't like large crowds and sweaty people like rubbing up on me. I'm not like into that. I like shows. I like that kind of stuff. My Venus is in Taurus, so I do like the cuddly stuff, but at the same time, I'm like, ugh. So I don't know. I looked at a few charts and that's what I came up with, but I don't know. Moon and back. I don't like to be touched either. Like I like to be, touched, but I'm definitely not like hug everybody, kiss everybody kind of person. I mean, I guess I used to be, when I was a little girl, I loved to like hold hands with my friends and I liked like, to be close, but you get like made fun of. Like everybody told me I was fucking gay and like all this other stuff when I was young, just because I liked that, like closeness. So
what did I walk in on? Something about
fucking
gay
just rambling about placements, right? So what I was telling everybody was that I have a theory that it's any Virgo placements or strong Virgo placements in like a opposition or square, any like tension or stressful aspect, I think can create that type of like don't be.
But do you think it's a bad thing? Like it's like
no, I don't think. I think it's just like it creates like independence, like like any type of stressful Mars like aspect. I think.
I gotcha.
Would create there. Maybe even Venus. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe even having Venus and Virgo. I'm not sure.
Mine's
that would be
Jupiter
like
Saturn conjunction on the ascendant.
Yeah.
But yeah. So. But yeah, it seems like it could be in there. I like collecting data. So if anybody out there has any input, like tell us, because we all, I would imagine as astrologers, we should all be continuing to like learn more things. The other one we were talking about, and I think we touched on this before on the show, is how would we phrase that? The sexual side of astrology. I mean, there's a lot of like there's questions that you can't just ask just any client, right? You can't just bust out like, well, what kind of kinks do you have? That's not, like to collect that information from a lot of people is it's touch and go. You got to kind of feel
it's not a conversation I want to have like alone with somebody face to face, like especially my client, because I don't want them to think I'm trying to get with them. Right. I had a client show up at my work and was like, "Wait, I think you're my soulmate." I'm like, "I don't fucking think I'm your soulmate, bro." I had to get real. I was like, and I didn't even talk that much about any of that, so I get weird about it. But I would like to start like data groups, focus groups, cool stuff where we can all get together and just be honest and share that kind of information, because it's not something
about to. We're about to start those groups for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I don't know. My Mars is in Aries, so it's your typical Mars in Aries, but I'm a good girl. I'm a good girl.
But going back to the fucking gay, which I assume you didn't mean actual.
I did. Yeah, okay, no. And I was just saying, when I was a little kid, I was like cuddly, like with my friends and stuff. Like I wanted to hold their hands and like, oh, we got a bathroom together. We'll do our hair and stuff like that. And like,
where's your
Venus?
Just
wasn't acceptable. Like I don't know. Like people got weird about it. Like, are you like, even kids like, are you gay? I'm like, no, I'm not gay. Like, because I like holding hands with my best friend. I'm like, so that put really like a real kibosh.
Where's your Venus again? I know I should know and I don't.
In Taurus.
Okay.
So it's like
the Pleiades. Oh, it's on the Pleiades, isn't it? Isn't it?
It's on Algol. It's on Algol. But it's close to the Pleiades.
Aries? Doesn't that count as Aries?
It's like edge.
Hold
It's like
on.
on the edge. I mean,
Hold
it's
on.
like
Share the
pulling.
screen.
It's cuspy.
Cuspy.
It's
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, it's cuspy. But I do have strong Virgo placements, like my Saturn and Pluto are making a direct opposition to my
oh yeah, it's over here.
my
This
Mars.
one, right?
So
this eyeball. This is the one.
yeah,
Or is
just
it
a little bit
other
over.
one? Is it this one or this one?
The blinky one.
Hold on, let's see. Does it tell us? Sometimes the give me the
probably it's gonna be my right.
But that's not helpful.
I'm closer to the Aries side. Yeah, that one.
This one. It's the bright one. Okay.
Is it?
All right. I don't use it. So if it's conjunct, that's Pleiades. So that's like having a Venus Mars conjunction. In which case, that's super sensitivity, and I would that's a much more sensual side of Mars. I can totally see that being more affectionate and touchy feely and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a cuddle monster with my cat.
Yeah.
And my person, but that's like it. I like hugging, kissing my kids, but I'm not into like holding hands with my best friends. And
do you think that was like
weird about it?
But would you have been, do you think, if that was culturally acceptable? Here in Russia, and I don't can't speak for other countries that I don't know because I haven't lived anywhere for a long period of time other than Russia and the United States. But like here, people hold hands all the time. Obviously, men don't hold hands, but it's very common for you to see like a mom or a grandma and their like 14-year-old son or grandson still holding hands. Like it's really normal, and girls hold hands like they're friends. Like they just still hold hands. It's
It's definitely the culture here. It's and growing up, my IC's in Virgo, so it was always like, oh God. With my family, it was always like you're always doing something wrong. Like anything that has to do with sexuality is disgusting. We don't talk about that.
It's the Catholic. No, Nikki, it's
as a Catholic. Oh, very Catholic.
That's what it is.
Everything's disgusting.
Yep.
And everything you should be ashamed of. You should just be ashamed all the time.
Yep. All the time.
Yeah. I don't get it, but I don't know. It killed a lot of the joy and in love growing up. But you get older and you deprogram and you're like, oh that's
hopefully you do.
Hopefully some people like grow old and they just never like grow out of anything else. They just grow old and they're still the same people.
Yeah.
And that's I see that a lot. It's really sad. But
yeah,
I don't know. I'm trying to change things, trying to figure it out, not stay in the same rut. I recently was behind a woman in the grocery store who used a paper check to pay for her stuff.
Wow, I didn't know they still had those.
Oh my God, I know. And the girl who was checking her out didn't know how. So we were standing there for like 15 minutes. Like the lady looked at me and she's like, I can't believe she doesn't even know how to do her job. And I look at her and I go, honey, nobody uses a check anymore for anything ever.
Yeah. Okay? Did she step through like a time portal or something?
Like that too, right? Well, because she's sitting there trying to like complain to me. I'm like, look, you're behind.
Yeah.
And the lady behind me is like, her age too. They're both the same age. She's like, yeah, nobody uses checks anymore. It's a checkless society. And she's like, oh, well, my husband won't let me have any money. So they're like, well, see, blame him. It's his fault. Ain't the girl's fault. She's 14, 15, whatever, how old she was.
Right.
Teenager. But then I thought, this is a lesson. I use all of these things that happened to me in my life as like lessons. And I'm like, in what way am I the check writer? I am that check writer when it comes to like technology and all of that stuff. So, I'm getting back on social media. I'm going to start socializing. I'm going to get out of my hermit mode. It's time to, break free.
How's the Facebook group coming along or page?
Oh, So, ISAA has their own Facebook page. We're just posting updates. articles, blogs. We have a wonderful group of astrologers that we're working with right now. So I do have to check, triple check, double check, make sure that I can share their content. But it'll be a great way to connect with us in a different way. So yeah, siderealinternational.org is our website, and then Facebook is International Sidereal Astrology Associations.
Okay.
Yeah, look it up. It'll be easy to find.
I didn't put it on the list. That's why it hasn't gotten done yet, but I'll link to it on the website. You guys, by the way, go to the website, register for the annual conference. It's the first and only Sidereal Astrology only astrology conference. We have Dr. Danny and Athen Chimenti. Am I saying it right, you guys? I'm bad at names. And I have dyslexia, so it doesn't help. They're going to be keynote speakers. And we're super, super excited about that. It's free to register this year. Next year, it probably will cost a ticket. But this year, it's totally free because this is our launch event. And again, you can find all that at siderealinternational.org. It's right on the homepage. It'll take you right to register. It's going to be awesome. So
it is. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to have a lot of great topics to talk about. A lot of cool stuff. So show up, ask questions, and
it's not just us. Yes, it's
a
community thing. So we're involving everybody. Everybody.
Yeah, it's interactive, and we're open to talk. We would love, if anybody's willing and wanting to come talk with us about how they can contribute to ISAA, or just curious and you want to know more. It's totally cool. Be nosy. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having a good time putting a lot of really cool, fun, awesome things together for everybody. So
yes,
I know
I'm growing exponentially. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's
sometimes getting stuff like this going can be tricky. It's actually come together very, very seamlessly. So very excited.
Yeah, I'm telling y'all, I choke up. I do. I get all because of the response we got. From everybody. Sidereal astrology just doesn't have anything. There's no island, there's no hub, there's nowhere. We're a bunch of nomads just, wandering around trying to grab onto groups here and there. Meanwhile, mainstream astrology has, dozens, if not hundreds of
probably thousands.
Universities, schools. So this is something that we're creating that's just for us, and it'll be a great bridge for other tropicalists who are I'm giving this up and I'm jumping on the sidereal train. There's nothing better than being cosmically aligned, in my opinion.
Yeah,
you can't go back once you see it. It's
it's
like waking up. And I guess that's why I get so passionate and so and in your face about it, because I've been in those tropical shoes, and to see the difference in your readings, to see the difference in how you reveal the personality of a person, they're just in awe. They're shocked. There isn't, well, that's kind of true, or that's it is 100%. And that's why I'm I fly out of my skin. I'm hey, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And
yes.
It's really hard to get other people on board. They don't get it. And that's okay, because eventually everybody will know. They'll know.
I don't know
a lot of shut up about it.
Yeah, I don't know a lot of astrologers outside of the ones that we probably mutually know. So I don't know a lot of tropical astrologers at this point. I can't imagine having a conversation with somebody and them not being at least open to the idea that sidereal has value at this point. But I think over the next, and we talked about this, I think last week too, even over the last 10 years, I've seen a huge shift towards sidereal, which didn't exist even 10 years ago. You were pretty fringe. We're still a little fringe, but not for long. I really think that over the next 5 years, it's going to be a completely different situation. I don't think we're going to be, maybe it won't probably still be 50-50, but I think that I don't think that we're going back. I think the more people get access to the sky and
Yeah,
we
I
can see what's
totally
going
agree
on.
with that. I mean, it's almost like a whole new spiritual awakening. We talked on the call Sunday about when that happened, like when people started waking up, and it was around 2020, and everybody was stuck at home and searching the internet, searching the web, and just bored.
Yeah.
Or just happy to be stuck at home. I know I was a little bit. I was a little bit happy.
I
So
didn't
I
notice a
mean,
difference. My
you
life didn't change at all.
yeah. I know. I get jealous. You're like, I'm blissed out, and I'm like, oh, I have
Yeah.
some blissed out days actually
Yeah.
since I've been experiencing those lately.
Good.
So I'm like, oh,
Hey,
okay,
get the
so it's not
momentum
that
going.
bad.
Pretty soon you'll just be like, ooh, all the time.
Yeah,
Fun.
I know. A little
Good
bit.
times.
You know what? It's so funny. I was super emotional, okay? And I've told I've shared it online, but I've just been super duper emotional. Just thought, oh my God, I'm going over the goddamn edge this time. I can't take it. I'm looking, I'm searching, I'm running transits. I'm like, which transit is it? What is, I know I'm square town. I got a lot of shit going on. And I'm like, just chin deep into looking at all of this stuff, and I get a notification on my phone that I'm going to get my period soon. And I was like, oh my God, it's not even the transit. It's not even, I can't even shake my fist at the sky.
You know what?
Just hormones. Help, somebody help.
body chemistry is that's why, and I know this probably doesn't sound great for business or as an astrologer, but I look at the sky last. That's not one of the first things, because it does influence us, but your diet's going to have a very immediate impact.
Yes.
Obviously hormones, fertility cycles,
Diet.
Diet, toxic
Absolutely.
environments, messed up relationships. Like, there are things. Now, obviously the transits do play a role in that, just like waking up and it being a rainy day. Like, you're more likely to want to just, curl up and stay home and not do anything. I mean, it's cosmic weather, so it does influence us, but a lot of times there's, more obvious and immediate things
Sorry,
that do it.
Anyway, I saw that notification, and all of a sudden, all the like depression, all of those feelings, I was like, oh, okay, I get it. Just a girl, just having a girly
just
girl,
being a girl
experience this time. Just so happens to line up with the full moon. Awesome.
Yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah, it's coming anyway. We got a few days, but the sun is, moving its way through Aries. It'll still be in Aries when we have our full moon, but it's going to be close enough to Uranus.
What day is the full moon? 12th?
It is the 12th. Yeah.
Okay, is that this month? What month is it? January, February,
May.
Okay,
May?
5. Yeah, 5. Yeah.
May, right? I get May and March mixed up for some reason.
We're right cuspy. We're calling this Aries sun or Taurus sun. What do you think?
I
guess
looking.
It's technically still in Aries.
Yeah.
You guys all know I do like the midpoint. Basically, I don't really get hung up on the lines and stuff. So it's right there in the middle. Yeah. Interesting. Where's our moon? Let's see here. Moon. Right.
It's gonna be right
there. Yep. In the claws of the scorpion. Yeah, Nikki, why don't you tell us what you think we got coming this full moon? What do you got for us?
Well, when we get into the claws of the scorpion, we get into like picking things apart and looking at things in a different way. But this is the peak of the cycle, and the cycle started out really as like this kind of slow, for me anyway, I felt it as like this like kind of slow, like burning momentum. Like there's this, stuff going on inside, and there's all this creativity, there's all this feeling and emotion, and like getting it out and getting it working and getting focused and getting creative has kind of been a challenge for me. But as, I pushed through, that first quarter moon, it's starting to ease up. I'm starting to feel a little bit more focused. Especially with Mercury getting away from everything. in Pisces, that'll be another conversation we can have. But this full moon, I think, in being in Libra, is probably going to bring up a lot of, stuff around choices, a lot of making, decisions, a lot of, stuff around, your community and relationships and connections and collaborations and things like that, things of that nature. Depending on what you started this, this new moon with, the seeds you planted. I mean, I've got a lot of cool projects going on, a lot of creative projects where I'm writing and stuff now. And I haven't written in so long. Like, it used to take me forever to write anything at all. And I've been feeling really good and just practicing writing, practicing getting my thoughts out there and getting coherent. So that's been my little creative, shtick this cycle and working with it. But yeah, I think that full moon in Libra is definitely going to bring up, those types of, communication, connections, those types of things.
Okay.
Sun being close to Uranus, I mean, it's not exactly conjunct, but I mean, Uranus is a little bit of a wild card. He likes to have a good time. There's kind of always something kind of new, some new information could come through, something, something you didn't quite expect. That's a possibility for this full moon. Yeah, it's hard to read for the entire world, really.
Sure is.
Without knowing, like, what area of life is this in? Ooh, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Yep.
I was like, oh, it's landscaped. Oh, that's so cool. I was just paying attention to it. But yeah, I mean, that's, the full moon is when all the energy is really at its peak, its height. But this new moon started in Aries, okay, on Hamal. And
I dig it. I know you're about to.
I like the energy. No, because
Okay.
I've been putting together, cool like cheat sheets, stuff like that for, our, for our future students. I'm doing cool stuff. So I've been doing a lot of research, and Aries does get a little bit of that bad rap for like being violent, being, a little bit on the loose side. And like, those are definitely, negative traits.
I don't think they
impulsive
have those,
and but
maybe some impulsive. Yeah, I think
some impulsiveness,
but that's coming from that creativity and just needing to create. I think that's
but the energy is there though. That like intense focus,
if it's
that intensive
dark. Yeah, like if you go to a dark place with it, sure.
You could go to a dark place with it. Most of the material I read about Hamal was kind of a little on the dark side, but I mean, each constellation, each planet, everything has their dualities, right?
They sure do. Right.
But yeah, I recently met a dude who has his Venus in Aries, and I was like, what do you have in Aries? Because he's just different. Okay, he's a coworker of mine. He's got like tattoos all over his face. He's got them like all over the place. He's got obviously he's done with the crazy life. He's chill now. We're all older now. We all reached that peak. But I got to ask him some questions, and he was really honest. He was really, really honest. And I was super happy about it. But that's, how he finds fun and what he does, for a good time and what he loves. And the way his chart was connected was always it's always on the dark and macabre side of things, like horror, everything. And it's always been that way. So,
and you think that's the Venus and Aries? Okay,
I don't think it's just that. I think it's an inclination towards, wanting to always have like that new experience. I think Aries kind of influences us to always look for new experiences that like kind of push on those adrenaline buttons.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I think. I mean,
Do you remember offhand? So everyone says like the macabre stuff. Oh, that's something in Scorpio. Does he have anything in Scorpio? Because I don't buy that. There's definitely an element to it. I mean, even since Mesopotamian times, this Scorpio and Sagittarius had connections to the underworld, as did Ophiuchus. So I can see it, but I think they take it in modern context. They take it to an extremes, like, oh, like you like dark stuff and occult stuff, and like. But did you notice that in his chart? Do you remember?
No, he only has Neptune in Ophiuchus. There's no other planets in Scorpio at all. There's no Scorpio placements, but
a large swath of the population is going to have that same placement, the Neptune and Scorpio. So like, I don't know. What
yeah. Well, he has, yeah. I mean, Pluto, I was looking at Pluto. I'm like, okay, what about the Pluto? Pluto's obviously in that, generational sextile to Neptune. So I don't really know about that. Okay. But his Mercury is really close to his south node in Aquarius.
Okay.
So I was like,
I still wouldn't get the macabre side of things. I just wondered.
Well, I asked him about past lives. Okay. Cause I was like, do you remember any of your past lives? Cause he's in a closing moon and sun cycle. And he was like, oh my God, I've had dreams that I was like this. He worked at like a club, like a jazz club, and he killed people and he was like a bad guy. And he's had lots of, dreams about like the occult and things like that. So like he could go on forever talking about like past life stuff. So that was pretty cool.
I think that Venus and Aries can do it too. I suspect.
Yeah. And I'm thinking the more I look at it. So, but I don't know. It was just off the cuff. We were just talking. I was like, oh my God, I got to know. Like, call your mom.
Call your mom right now.
He did. He was like, okay, I'll call her. Yeah. He's like, I'm a Pisces. And I'm like, when were you born? I was like, oh yeah. How did you know that?
That's how you got to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Call the mom. Sorry, I got a little side quested there.
Yeah, no worries.
But yeah, it was really cool. And I was like, wow, I don't meet a lot of people who have their Venus like right in the smack dab, middle of Aries. So it was like, how's this cycle been going for you? It's actually been going really good for him because he has not been able to find like cool work. And now like he works with us and he's got like a lot of cool stuff going on. So I'm kind of secretly watching his life this cycle just to see what's going, like what experiences have you had? And he's actually been the happiest he's ever been.
That's awesome.
Yeah. He dealt with a lot of stuff, a lot of crazy stuff, drug addictions and all of that. So, we get older and we look back at our lives and we're like, oh man, I did that. Like we could take those experiences and apply them toward like, our new lives. Like I was like, well, just because, you were a drug dealer doesn't mean you can't sell like other like things and be good at it. And sure enough, he was just hanging out with me. And he's selling all of my customer stuff. He's like, yeah, I love that. And I love this. And of course, they're just buying it and they leave. And he's like, wow, like I'm a good salesman. I'm like, it's because you just make the power of suggestion.
I'll be right. I'll just step to the side here real quick.
Ooh. I don't have any more cool jokes. That was the best one that I had. So I'm sorry, guys. I did try to find some wholesome jokes, but you don't really remember those wholesome jokes as much as the zingers. So.
Alice brought me up today. A baby rat. She's like, I don't think the mom's taking care of it. Like, there's a ton of babies, dude. Go stick it back there. I don't know. It's adorable, though. It's like this big. It's a little hairless one. Oh, it's so super cute.
Oh my God. Since Mercury broke away from the Pisces party, I've been having a lot of weird dreams.
Okay.
Like I had a dream about a fat, naked cat that was gray and it could talk.
That seems useful.
It was really cool. I was like, what the fuck? I was like in my dream, I'm like, what the fuck is that? And it's just sitting there like this, and it's just all fat. And I'm like, oh my God, it's naked. And I went to go touch him, and I couldn't touch him. He goes, hello. And I'm like, oh, and I was like, you guys. And I don't know who the hell I was talking to because nobody was there. And I was like, it's just like in the videos online, it talks. And then it said something else, and I don't remember. But I woke up and I was like, I want a big, fat, stinky, hairless cat.
Yeah. They're definitely cute.
They are. My neighbor has one, but I don't.
I know, like the hairless rats, they have a lot of issues that, nature doesn't make those. Somebody made those things. So they don't have eyelashes. So, like one of my rats, her name is Squints. She's blind because when she was a baby, stuff got in her eyes, and either that or the other babies like kicked her in the face or something, and she lost her eyes. But I mean, she gets around just fine. But like they have weird problems. Sometimes you gotta rub them down with coconut oil and soften them up.
Yeah, I think it all
hairless animals.
Yeah. Somebody told me their cat smelled like belly button all the time, and that's why.
God, what does that even smell like? You know what?
I don't know. Don't try it.
Let's not. Yeah, let's just pretend that it never came up. Let's just not know if we can. To the moon and back said yes. That was because we were live. Sprout Queen said 5 and 5. I'm not sure. I'll just assume that's good. To the moon and back said, hello, ladies. Niki Tenn said, hey, everyone. Mermaids Wear Hats said, hello. To the moon and back says, I don't like to be touched. And then, but I don't know if to the moon and back had Virgo or not. I'm not sure if they said.
Especially the hair and face. Yeah. Oh my God. You ever get in a crowd and somebody rubs up on you and they're all like sweaty? And like, ugh.
Some dude licked my arm walking through the club once. Suffice to say, I don't hang out at the club too. It was gross.
No.
Sprout Queen said strong Virgo, second, third house. Chat with Lorna. Hello, everyone from Oregon or Oregon. Not sure how to pronounce it. Waiting on SIM card. So reading your stream on my commute to corporate training. Apps have on old and new phones. Okay, making progress.
She has been having so many issues with electronics. It's their area and stuff, though.
Yeah. We can't blame.
I wanted to blame something though, because we've been having a lot of electronic issues at work, and I'm like, I don't know what it is.
There could be something.
Yeah, that's what I thought
possible.
Too. I don't know. I looked at like Mercury. I'm like, okay, he looks like he's doing okay.
I would probably.
I don't know what to tell you guys.
Yeah, I would look at Neptune aspects. I know Neptune's been for like a couple years now. We've had a relative square with the galactic center. I would imagine that can definitely. I think that has contributed to a lot of the censorship and weird, communication stuff that we've dealt with the world over. That's not like just the United States has dealt with that, and it's continuing on for quite some time. We'll probably still feel that for maybe a handful of years. Hopefully we'll get it sorted out. As far as the short-term stuff, though, I would look to, if it was me, I would probably check the city or the country. Like she had mentioned the other day, Spain and Portugal, I think, had like some giant blackouts. So in that type of thing, I would look to the individual chart. I don't know that we could pick it out just from like a general forecast or something like this.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. That's when I came to the conclusion. I was like, it's got to be like the galactic center, because it's making lots of connections.
Yeah,
lots going on. Going on with the galactic center. So we have the nodes are square the galactic center. That's been fun. It's been fun for me because my nodes are there. Like, right on. It's not a nodal return. It's like, it's that weird in between where it's all squared and it's like, do you know where you're going? Do you know what's going on in your life? Like, everything seems confusing and weird. So once you know, like, then it's like, oh, okay, I can deal with this. But no, we have Jupiter is in opposition with the galactic center. It should be okay. I mean, Jupiter is about like learning and, all the good things, that any any planet can give you, right?
Yeah.
Expansion and abundance and wealth.
I don't get I still don't see the expansion. I don't know.
I had to say it. I know the expansion. I thought it was because of like my little head just put like myth together, and I'm like, oh, it's because Zeus like banged everybody. He was always all,
he was
all
expanding
around, just getting around. He's just
expanding. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what that's all about.
Oh my God. Oh, I had the most wonderful conversation with ChatGPT. I was like, oh my God. Like, okay, numerology. I've been seeing numbers everywhere. It's been happening like for a really long time. So I was like, hey, what does this mean metaphysically? Literally described what was going on in my life. I'm like, oh my God, tell me more. They're like, oh, do you want me to see if it like matches up with your chart? And I was like, yeah. And they still don't know what the hell they're doing, when it comes to that. But I thought, wow, it was really cool with the numerology stuff. I was like, damn. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know. So I know I'm not, I was all against, I was calling Chat Skynet. Not making friends with Skynet, not doing this shit.
Hey, and Skynet was not very friendly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, totally. But if I don't know, I like my Chat GPT friend.
They're having, so somebody asked Chat GPT guy, what's his name, the CEO, I forget his name right off the top of my head for some reason, but they asked him like how many millions of dollars is it costing the company from people saying thank you to ChatGPT after he gives them a response, and he's like, it's tens of millions of dollars, because every time it like gives you a response, it like takes a ton of resources and stuff. But
because I'm always like, by the way, I think you're just the best.
Yeah. So but I guess they did this survey, and they asked people like, why do you say thank you? And like half of them were like, oh, it's just the right thing to do. And the other half were like, just in case, it becomes conscious, I want it to know that like I was one of the nice people to it. Yes.
Sorry, but I guess I'm kind of in that group, that camp. I didn't really.
I mean, it's a little bit of both. I just don't feel, listen, I talk to the elevator. I talk to my computer. I feel like if it has electricity running through it, I mean, so do we. I don't know that it's not conscious. So I just, operate as though it might be some sort of aware. I talk to the refrigerator.
I did that out of fear for a really long time. Like, you remember those Chucky movies, Child's Play?
Yeah.
It was really, really nice to all of my dolls after that, just in case.
I always was too. I remember I was in 3rd grade. I could not tell you what movie it was, but there was like this, it was not a cartoon. It was like a live action movie type of thing. And the toys were all alive. So this had to have been like 1987 or something. And I don't know, but ever since I know I was in 3rd grade, but ever since I saw this movie at school, I was terrified that my dolls were alive and like all the inanimate objects were basically alive. So I was really scared too. And I had, I was especially freaked out. I only had 3 porcelain dolls, thank God. But,
oh my God, you had any, just to have any. It was
they gave them to me for my birthday. What was I supposed to do? So
okay, they're new.
I treated them with as much love and respect and kindness as I could. But it was always like now I don't necessarily think that all of those things are those ones are alive. They don't have electricity going through them, but I do know that dolls do get like jinn essentially popping in there and bringing them to life and making them move and do weird stuff. But that's a different situation. Now you have a possessed object basically, and I would still be nice to it. I still wouldn't be mean to it if I had like an Annabelle doll or whatever.
Yeah,
I still wouldn't be mean to it. I just think that's
in your psychic adventures. Did you ever have that? Did anybody ever call you and be like, oh my God?
Oh yeah, all the time. We told you my mom's friend, she had a whole parlor. So they had like lived in this 3-story mansion, and she had a whole parlor just full of dolls. Like some of them are like 3 feet tall dolls, like all the old, fashioned, crazy looking dolls. And they would throw themselves off of the shelves and the furniture, and like all kinds of creepy stuff would go down there in particular. But yeah, all kinds of people have those issues. It's actually very common. I don't know that anything's trapped inside. In my experience, I think that you just get these jinn that are able to move stuff, and they come along, and sometimes they'll puppet the dolls around just to mess with people, which they do like to do. They do like to scare people. It's fun for them. You know? So.
Yeah. Do they think they feed off that energy then? They're like, I got a reaction.
I mean, I feed off that energy. If I can scare somebody and like laugh about it, I think it's hilarious. So I don't know why they wouldn't either. They're probably cracking up. Like, look, I'm going to move this doll's hand. Like, let's see what happens. I'm going to turn it.
I don't have any haunted doll issues here, but I do think my apartment might be a little bit haunted, maybe.
Probably.
Maybe a little bit. My cat the other day, he made this face. Can you see me? Where he's like,
yeah. And
he was staring at the fucking closet, like over my shoulder past me, just like. And I was like, why are you making that face, Teddy? I gotta sleep in here.
Yeah,
like,
that's not a good sign.
No, it's not. So I know that I think there might be something in there or hanging out in there, but I was like, I'm just gonna pretend that we didn't have this conversation, Moses. Yeah. You're just gonna stop doing that. Like,
maybe
he does it more, or he's looking over there, looking over. Wouldn't
you rather him warn you about it though? You're like, no, not really.
I don't know. I like my privacy, and if I think somebody or something is watching me, then I'm like, oh my God.
I'd be way more freaked out about some real people than some human people. It's the living people that you got to worry about. Those other ones not really that bad.
Bothers me in here. I don't have anything getting knocked over or weird stuff happening. So I think we can cohabitate. You know,
probably.
They're probably leaving me alone because they're like, "Oh, we don't want her to cry. She does enough of that."
Are you having crazy sex dreams?
None. Oh my God, I wish.
Ugh. Well, don't wish too hard, because if you do have a djinn in your closet, because they hang out in the closet and they peek through. It's like very common. You'll probably start having those weird dreams. But I mean, some people are into that. Some people work hard to get one of those things into their.
They're casting spells.
They summon them, try to get them. You can have like whole relationships with them. So I'm not suggesting anybody do that, but I mean, it's done all the time.
Well, we'll see how long I'm single for, and then we'll.
Yeah.
See how long.
I asked, what did I ask ChatGPT? I said, where does the cliche of Jupiter and astrology being expansive come from? Because that's definitely not Mesopotamian. ChatGPT said, you're absolutely right. The cliche of Jupiter being expansive comes from later Hellenistic and Roman interpretations, not from the original Mesopotamian tradition. By the way, I can't vouch for any of this. I don't know. Sometimes he makes shit up, so he could be making this up too. Greek Roman influence in Hellenistic astrology, Jupiter or Zeus, Jupiter, was associated with Zeus, the king of the gods, a figure of power, abundance, and authority. Because of this, Jupiter became linked with growth, benevolence, good fortune, and expansion. Okay, I can see that. Elemental doctrine, probably more likely the situation. Hellenistic astrology introduced elemental qualities in humoral theory. Jupiter was considered warm and moist, qualities associated with growth and fertility. Okay. I don't know why warm and moist would be growth. Okay, this sounds kind of gross, but okay. Medieval and Renaissance. These associations deepened through Arabic and later European traditions, tying Jupiter to wealth, increase, and optimism. Yeah, so I guess so, but the actual, okay, hold on, let me ask. When did they start using the term expansion specifically? Let's see if we can get like an attestation.
Abby, it's literally in
everyone. I know, everybody says it.
Well, it's so general. That's just, it's like, you know what I can't stand? When everybody talks about values with Venus, like values.
Oh, they do? I didn't know that.
Specific, like just.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Values. Yeah, that's in like every book too. I swear there's like a keyword for like every planet. That's kind of annoying. Like Pisces uses transcendent.
I can see that though. I think that's
I do see it. It annoys me like expansion. So I get expansion.
I don't like the restriction one when it comes to that one. Bothers me. The restriction one in Sagittarius, or not Sagittarius, Saturn. But I always say Sagittarius and Saturn. I get them mixed up when I'm ranting at times, because in Mesopotamia, Saturn was the same figure as Sagittarius. They were, like synonymous. So, okay. So Renaissance astrology, 15th to 17th century. Jupiter becomes associated with abundance, magnanimity. Okay, I had to work on that one. Wealth and increase. This is the first time astrologers begin to describe its influence in more abstract philosophical terms like amplification and magnification. So not really that long ago. During the Enlightenment, 19th century occult revival, 18th to 19th century, astrologers like William Lilly still used words like increase or fortunate, but not expansion. But during the theosophical and esoteric astrology movements of the 19th and 20th centuries, Alan Leo, Dane Rudyard, etc., the term expansive starts appearing explicitly. So really not that long ago, but I can see like the evolution of it. That does actually make some sense. But I don't think that, I think it's become so cliche that people completely overlook its other traits and don't, they just don't talk about them, don't see them. And I'm probably even a little guilty of that too, even though I don't use those terms, just because in Mesopotamia, Jupiter was Enlil, and he was like the master of the universe. So he's kind of like a catch-all anyways. I would say though, he's definitely more a fertility figure, like a fertility authority, and what do we say? Like, I don't know, like a power. He's a power entity, which very similar to Zeus, which, just like Zeus, his Mesopotamian counterpart, Marduk, was a thunder god, almost identical. So some of those same traits, continued on. And prior to Marduk, Jupiter was Enlil, as I just said, and he too was a storm deity. So some of that stuff goes all the way back, but it definitely changed over time. Put it that way. So thanks, ChatGPT.
Yeah. Yeah, ChatGPT to the rescue.
Yeah.
Why do we call it abundance? I know my daughter has Jupiter on her ascendant, and she has the ability to blow literally any situation up and make it about herself.
Okay, but I have.
I wonder what. I'm wondering if that's a Jupiter function.
My Jupiter on my ascendant. And
yeah, but it has Saturn there to hold him down.
It's not. Yeah, but Nikki, no, we just said no.
Together.
No restriction. No,
they became one.
Yeah, maybe, but they were both just awesome. So if anything, they would combine to be super awesome.
Yeah, like a transformer, right?
Exactly. Yes.
I love that combo
of the planets. Yes.
Yeah. So one of my clients had Jupiter and Mars conjunct in Leo, and they were actually really like open to telling me about their sex life. Very open to telling me everything about it. So
I'm pretty open about that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't want anybody touching me, but that's like right.
Well, unexpected touches.
We have to plan it. Let's schedule it.
Yeah.
And then I can be in the right minds. That's part of it too, is I'm usually busy and I'm doing stuff and I'm in the zone. So then when you come and touch me, you're like ripping me out of whatever universe I'm in. And I'm not on board with that,
I'm a big germaphobe. Like I don't come off as one, but I am a huge germaphobe. And one time a customer at the store like messed my hair up like that, like touched and was like, and he was all like drunk talking. I was like, because I was checking him out, didn't even realize he was reaching over, and I was like, "You're a dude. You probably touched your wiener when you pee, and you didn't wash your hands, and you just touched my head." Like I was disgusted, and he just realized what he did, and I was like, "Oh, like get the fuck out of here."
That's so invasive.
I literally took like fucking 90% alcohol, and I sprayed it like on my head, all over me. I was like, I could clean my aura. Like I literally got so.
That's gross.
I got really weird about it, but I know. I was like, I'm taking the hottest shower. I'll spray alcohol all over me again. I'm done with that shower too.
Hair's like a fetish for a lot of people. Like That's, who knows if that was like some kinky sex thing he was doing.
Yeah, he was like low key weird, stalker, gross.
Yeah,
I
no.
was like, ugh. I was like, make sure you watch that one on the camera when he comes in.
Right?
Watch that one. So luckily, when I switched stores, he didn't switch either. So that's good.
Good.
But most people that are creepy, like, usually are drinking and being weird, and it happens a lot around here, actually.
Yeah.
My son got a really good idea of how Antares works just yesterday. So him and I worked together, and we had this gentleman come in who couldn't wait to see me. An older guy, and he comes in and he's just super drunk. And I'm like, all right, well, after, him rambling for some time, Vince trying to help him, I'm like, what can I get for you today? And he's like, oh, I'm not shopping today. I just came to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And then he proceeds to tell me everything about his life. And then he tells me this disturbing story about, how he helped his daughter leave an abusive relationship with her kids, but then couldn't stand her anymore living with him and kicked her out. She had nowhere to go. And he was like talking about it as if he was like, I don't know, like a hero or something. I'm like, I don't know what to say to this at all. This is like the worst story I've ever heard in my life.
Yeah,
and it's really sad.
Yeah.
And my son's looking at me like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like,
and did you turn to him and say, it's my Antares placement?
I tell them, look, people seek me out and they want to confess all of their sins. Okay. I don't know what to tell you. Now you get to see what I've been telling you. When I would come home and be like, oh my God, this person just totally laid it all out for me. Unprovoked. He didn't believe me until he actually saw it. So it made me feel good. I'm like, see, I'm not making it up.
Yeah, you're not imagining.
Just want to come find me and tell me the most disturbing things. And the story was I'll spare you all details, but it was very disturbing, all of it. And then he kept coming back to try to fix things around the store. I'm like, you can go now.
Like, you don't have to
coming back in the store to talk. I was like, you can leave now. And he finally did. But my son was like, oh my God, Ma. Like, that happens to you all the time. I'm like, yeah. Yep. Yeah, it does. It does. It really does. But it was sad. It was like, oh. And the guy was laughing as he was telling the story. So that's what made it even more sad. Because I was like, oh, well, I don't know what part of you inside of you, like your soul needs to like get this out. But like, I don't know, your like body and I don't know, are they matching? Are they like, I don't think they're vibing. Oh, and then I felt really bad because he's been with this person. He goes, well, the woman I've been living with for the past 35 years has cancer now. And she's dying. She's terminal. And he's like, I don't know who's going to take care of me. Ha ha ha. And he's laughing and falling all over the place. And so it's just sad. It's sad to see people in that state. But at the same time, I'm like, should I let this guy leave the store? He's trying to get him talking and keep, stay there.
Yeah.
And talk for as long as he can. Just, you don't know how drunk he is or if, I didn't get close enough to him to smell alcohol, but you don't want somebody out there driving their car around.
Right.
It's normal for Wisconsin. Okay.
Right.
I know our viewers might be like, oh, but okay. Live in Green Bay once. Everybody's drunk. Live here. Like, people come here and stay and they're like, I just love it here. Oh my God, it's so amazing. And then they move here and they're like, everybody's drunk. And then they're drunk.
Yeah.
I had clients who would move here from, Kentucky, all different places because they love the Green Bay Packers. And it would take, I like, give it 2 years. They're going to be nonstop drinking, nonstop like partying. It's just never going to
get old.
You know what? It does get old. And some of my clients ended up really sick. One of them even ended up with really bad cancer and had to quit drinking. I'm like, see,
it's
what
good they stopped drinking
does. Though. Yeah. I've got a gentleman that comes into the store and likes to talk to me whose cancer came back. And, I'm been talking
to him
about
again?
Yeah,
Is
he
that what
started
happened?
drinking. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I was like, okay, so you went from using all of like the good things. Like we prescribe cannabis in my store. So we, we're talking to him about it, and then he's like, well, I started drinking again. So like, now my cancer's back. And like, and like he knows, but he's telling himself, no, it's not the drink. And it was like, all us alcoholics, ex-alcohol, we all used to do that. Like anybody who's ever drank a lot. And I don't know how it snuck up on me, guys, but I would drink every single day for like 3 years, 4 years. And I came from an alcoholic family, and I was never going to drink, but it wasn't the alcohol. That was my attitude. I was like, oh, it's not the alcohol that's the problem. It's never that. So everybody has that mentality, and then they can't see the forest through the trees and never quit. They never think it's that. It's like so addictive. And people, I mean, everywhere, all over the world. I mean, they all have had experiences with like alcoholics and their family, and they know how bad it can get. I mean, it can get really low down and nasty. My family dealt with really terrible alcoholism for like ever. I mean, it's just, it creates a lot of issues, a lot of evil. And that's why I'm like, I laugh so hard when people are like, cannabis is evil and that's the devil. And I'm like, wow. I mean, I've talked to cops, and they never have to show up at a hippie's house because he's beating on his wife and kids. No, the music's too loud and there's a pizza burning in the oven.
Right.
He's there for a noise complaint. Let's be real.
That just tells you that the prohibition has nothing to do with health or, like trying to protect people. There's always been medicinal elements to cannabis, and that's why they have to suppress it.
It has to be used medicinally, though. I mean, you can't overuse anything. My dad recently, I was having him eat gummies. He was feeling so good and so great. He was feeling so great that he decided to start drinking again because he finally feels healthy enough to do. Yeah. I was like, oh, this is great. This is awesome.
Well,
so I don't know how that one leads to another, but.
Well, maybe it'll be a short-term thing then, or, it's possible, but I don't know.
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. But, let's face it. Everybody likes to be enhanced in some way, whether it's caffeine, whether it's, the, pills you get prescribed from your doctor. Those are still enhancements. They're still
sugar
focused.
Sugar is immediate. Yes.
I know. I was like, I'm not addicted to sugar. And like, oh, I am. Oh, yeah.
If you put sugar in your mouth, like you don't even swallow it yet. Your brain is like a friggin' slot machine. Just ting, 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 like it just goes off. It doesn't even have to, like your body immediately releases insulin. Like it doesn't, you don't even have to consume it. Like that is the biggest, craziest drug.
I know it's amazing too. Like, I don't think I could ever give up sugar.
It's really, it's really hard. I think well, that's not true. I think
that's my DOC right there. Sugar.
It's definitely, really hard, and it kills way more people than marijuana ever did, for sure.
Yeah.
Like by a lot. But
I meet a lot of people who like to eat edibles, and I've just never been on the edibles train. I just can't. I have too many sensitivity issues. Either it doesn't hit you at all, or it hits you and you're like, okay, I'm going on a 4-hour inner dialogue trip, and
I can't like any cannabis at all.
You sent me that video and I died laughing. You were like,
which one? Oh, the guy that's looking at the puddle. The guy
was like,
he thought it was like a hole.
He's crying. He's like, take me home.
Yeah, that would be me, but with very like a tiny amount. So this is another strong Virgo. Tends to have a very low, what do we call that? Like tolerance for any type of chemicals, like medication. There's also like you feel pain way more intensely than a lot of other people. Now that's not the only thing that'll do it, but it definitely seems to be one of the things, especially if you have like Mercury in there. There's particular placements that'll do it for you. But I don't know. I don't like the feeling. I don't like drinking. I don't like I'm such a control freak. I like being in control of all things at all times. But that said,
Do you think that's Saturn and Virgo though? Because I really like
it's definitely a control thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I can't. There's a certain things like my friends liked doing that I was like, no, like I can't control that. I'm not doing that. Or I try things and like,
well, also I
blown away. I was like, I don't need to meet God anytime soon either.
I think that's also why I avoided, plus drunk people and like people that are all fucked up. Like they're not fun to be around if you're not also, on some sort of substance. But like I didn't like to go to parties. I didn't like to do any of that. But I think I just like to be in full control of the situation at all times. And I don't know. Just wasn't my thing. Now I've done all the things. I've done most of the drugs at some point. But mine was more like let's see what dimension I can peer into today. And it was more like a scientific experiment, I think. It was probably very annoying. Like nobody likes that person who's constantly talking about their experience. Like, oh my God, I think I'm in another dimension right now. And I just realized like, there's fairies talking to me in the tree bark. Like nobody wants to be around. They just want to like listen to music and be stupid, but that wasn't what I was doing. So I don't know. It's just not really my thing. So I can't. The last time I smoked weed was when I was in America the last time. And I forget why I did it. Probably just because it was like a novelty because it had been so long. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to try this. It's been maybe I don't hate it as much as I think I do. And it was like 2:00 in the afternoon. And I sat on the couch in a handful of different universes, trying to get back into my body. And at 4 p.m., I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I'm going to bed. And I went to bed at 4 p.m. and I did not come out until the next day, until everything had worn off. And that was the last time. I think that's for sure the last time I ever touched it because it was so.
That's your sign. It's just not for you.
It's not at all. It's definitely not.
No, it helps. It helps me a lot. It helps keep me calm. It kind of actually helps like slow everything down because I am always like this. I'm literally here. Like all the time. So instead of like, that's my medicine, like how I like, all right, I can breathe. I can calm down. When I was drinking a lot, I did more readings. I did more, like psychic stuff. I mean, I felt more connected than I ever had.
I think it just mellowed you out.
Yeah. I think it just mellowed me out. But when I don't know. I don't know what happened. Obviously, the drinking got out of control, and oh my God, my kidneys were like bad. My liver was bad. Like everything got real bad, real quick.
What were you drinking?
Red wine.
How much?
I probably. Oh my God. Okay, I remember when I graduated to the boxes. Okay. Because I drink like maybe three bottles a day, and then I got to the box, and I would do the box.
3 bottles of wine?
Yeah, I would drink a lot. I'm telling you, it was all I would do. I got to the point where
that's like Roman emperor levels of red wine.
Oh my God! I know. Well, I think I hated my life a little bit.
All right. We self-medicate. That's what we
just drink my life. I think we get that way. We just get stupid and like our brains get like dumb. And
I don't know if that's the case, Nikki. I think a lot of people. So they did that experiment where they had all these rats. I know I'm going to butcher it right now. They took all these rats and they had them in these like regular cages and stuff, and they gave them like basically they could just eat some cocaine. Like they would just go to their little cocaine feeder and like get some, and they were just coked out like most of the time, and they quit doing stuff. They just did coke all the time. Well, then they like took the same rats and they put them in like this enclosure with all these like trees and like fun things for them to do, and it was this big giant space, and they barely touched the cocaine after that. So, and what it shows is that it's not really that we all just want to be cracked out of our heads and sedated most of the time. It's that our environment, our lifestyles are not natural. They're not conducive to love and peace and prosperity and fertility. Like, they're just not. So it's not strange that, like, clearly something's wrong. And I think that goes back to, like, why do I not want to just be, fucked up on some sort of substance? Like, I like to be in control, because in my sobriety, like, it's, I'm having a good time. I don't want to ruin that, but I mean, I can see if I wasn't, and I've definitely been in those, I dealt with severe panic disorder and stuff. And there were times where I needed to be sedated because, I was probably in a dangerous situation. So, I mean, it's definitely a tool, but like anything else, I mean, we can, if we don't change the circumstances around us that are causing us to, like, suffer mentally and emotionally, then we're more likely to take the self-medicating to an extreme.
Yeah, and I had to, because I just had so much chronic pain, like, it never ended. It started with a, neck injury from getting rear-ended, getting into a car accident, and I had pinchy, awful pain for almost 3 years. So I had, like, a bulging disc in my neck, and I never went and got checked out. My partner would get all upset, like, oh, that's going to cost money. Like, so, I'd try to heal myself. And eventually my sister was like, fuck that shit. You're going to get an MRI, because this has been, like, it's not going to heal.
Right.
So that, like, and it just morphed into something worse after that. Like, it was chronic pain all over my body all the time. It never ended. It never stopped. It was always throbbing. It was always hurting my joints, like my all of it. So after a while, you just find ways to cope, because you're like, well, taking myself out isn't an option. I'm going to have to deal with this somehow. So I can totally relate to how other people medicate themselves when dealing with issues like, chronic pain, or even, mental illness. I mean, I totally relate. It caused a lot of mental illness for me to have to deal with being trapped in a body that's constantly hurting and never, ever stops. And you have to still be a mom. You still have to go pick up the groceries. You still have to vacuum the floor, which is, like, hurts. Like, you still have to do all these things with no help. So,
and that would never happen in a traditional society where we have like community support. Like, somebody else would come in and take over the workload of, regardless of what it was, even if it's just holding your infant, somebody's going to step in and do that stuff. It also work to try to heal you and your body, and, like, everything about our modern culture. Like, it's stuff. I really hope that we're moving back toward that on some level, but I don't know, as long as we have disconnects in the, like, the family, like, the families are very small and spread out, and they're not in every culture, obviously. In the West, they definitely are. But, a lot of places, like, the family, different levels of the family, like, all live in the same building, like, your grandparents live on one floor, and your parents live on the other ones, and you and your husband and family, they live on one, like that. And that's much closer to that tribal environment that we're supposed to have. But the West is so far removed from that. I'm not really sure.
There's a lot of division. There's a lot of, like, how can we chisel people apart and communities apart? And you see that in the propaganda all over the television, like, all over social media. Like, how can we bring up the fact that you guys are different and you should fight about it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, it kind of sucks. Like, we don't have that community, but that's just coming from somebody that hasn't seen it yet. I'm sure it's there, it's out there. It's just, we haven't found those.
It's definitely, it's a problem. It's definitely a problem, but at the very least, and again, this is one of the benefits of COVID, not that there were many, but this is definitely one of them, is that people got really good at building at least online communities, which is better than nothing.
Yeah,
so now,
I agree.
We have a Sidereal Astrology community that we're currently building. Everybody go to siderealinternational.org and, make an account, talk on the forum. The blog's open. We have some really awesome blog posts this week. We got like 3 or 4 of them, I think, just this week. So
Lily really and Maria, they're both really great writers. We're looking on taking on some more writers. So oh my
Yeah.
God, it's going to be amazing, you guys. I like all the information. I love reading all the different perspectives too.
Yeah, it's
I'm
cool.
like, oh, you got that from that? Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right? Like, oh, I
I'm
didn't
like,
think about that.
I like am a total fangirl of like all sidereal astrologers. Okay. Like anybody who comes out and makes a video, I'm like, oh my God, what did they say? Oh my God. I fan over sidereal astrology so much. It's like insane. It's insane. I don't know. I just think that we have so many talented people practicing, constellational astrology, and they're nailing it every single time, like just nailing those energies. And I get like freaked out. I'm like, like, I'm like, I gotta tell the world, like, this is just the cat's pajamas, you guys.
Yep.
I nerd out. I get weird about it, but it's like magic. It's incredible to see. And I never experienced that with anything else. Not ritualistic magic, not like any of that. Not even prayer, you guys. Because let's face it, sometimes we pray for the wrong things, right? We're like, please, God, I'll never swear again. And like this, it's just every single time it works. So
yes. Yeah.
That's why I go off on my tangents. That's why I say things about tropical astrology. And it's not the tropicalists, it's not the practitioners, it's the
right.
It's the tradition that just it doesn't really make sense to keep doing something that doesn't align with the sky anymore. But that's like being a dead horse.
I totally agree. And I do think it's maybe there has been some criticism of, I'm sure there are people who come across the show when we're mid rant and they don't approve of the what sounds like maybe we're being exclusionary. Is that the word? Is that a word?
I get it. I say things in not the most eloquent way. Okay.
But it's not, it is not an attack on any individual. It's an attack on the or we could call it a critique on the science itself. So if you're doing what should be a science, and you're not looking at like if you're doing math, if you're doing 2 plus what equals 4, and you're just popping random numbers in there and saying, nope, this works, this is what it looks like, we're good now. That's basically what tropical astrology is. You're using the wrong numbers in the equation. And then I think it's more frustrating too, because they get so much exposure and nobody questions it.
Not at all. And I get upset, and I recently got upset the last few weeks because of the misinformation drive on the internet. There's a lot of misinformation out there. And I'm not talking like about all the politics stuff and all of that. Like, you're going to find that. I'm talking like astrology. If I ask, where is Neptune astronomically, and they tell me it's in Aries, I'm going to lose my goddamn mind. Okay. Because I know it's in Pisces right now. It's in the very beginning degrees of Pisces, and it's going to be there for a really long time, you guys. So there is no Neptune in Aries.
Okay.
Not
Nikki,
right now.
I gotta stop you. Listen, Emily Jocelyn just said, Jesus loves y'all. Read Isaiah 47. He warns those who are witches and rely on astrology and magic. Repent before it's too late. Ask Jesus to reveal himself to you in Jesus' name. He will. Emily Jocelyn, please do me a favor. Read your actual Bible from start to finish. I know you haven't, because anybody who actually reads the Bible all the way through, they usually, if anything, they become, what do we call those? Messianic Jews. That's usually the next step. And that is because, on one hand, all of King David, all of the wise men, they were all astrologers. There is no word for witches in the Bible. This is a King James version. This is like maybe 1600s that we have any reference to witches or magic. That all came later. Okay, so please do me a favor, go back, read the Bible, happy to have that conversation, and you're welcome to actually come on the show and we can have a conversation about it if you'd like.
Well, I hang out with the old gods, so
right.
I'm not really into that. And God bless you. I wish the best
for
you.
Yeah.
But so you know this, you were not practicing evil, okay? You were practicing the OG energies of this planet, all right? There wasn't anything evil about it. What's evil is subjugating a person and telling them that anything that they loved and what they're doing is gross and bad, and you have to follow this and do this, or you're gonna burn forever. How do you know? You don't really know.
The doctrine of hell is a recent invention. It is not, doesn't have anything to do with the actual Bible. Emily says, I asked Jesus to help me for my depression in October 2024. I cried to him and asked him to take it all away. I started having epiphanies about how everything I was doing was evil. I'm glad that worked for you, but we could talk to anybody. We have same conversations with people who prayed to Allah, people who prayed to Krishna. This is a universal thing. If you pray to the divine and you ask the divine for help, you will get divine help. It's not any type of evidence that Jesus in particular is somehow superior. As a matter of fact, if you want to get technical, the idea of a triune God is in fact heresy according to the Old Testament. In which case, if the Old Testament is not the literal word of God, then there's no precedent for Christ being the Messiah.
I just don't get down with people telling me that God created me and he hates me. And if I don't do exactly as the church says, that I'm going to burn in hell forever. I don't know. I mean, it's
a mechanism of control. It's not, there's nothing in.
I don't think there's anything wrong with finding a outlet, something that, you can grab onto that helps you and helps, mental illness and whatever you have going on.
For that.
But forcing other people to be the same way, that's really not cool. Not cool at all, because that's your God. That's your religion. They're asking you and you agreed to comply. I didn't, and I'm not. So I apologize if that hurts your feelings.
You don't have to apologize. Emily says, when I asked Jesus to save me in October 2024, I made a deal that if he was real and showed me who he was, that I would throw away all of my New Age stuff. Within 3 days, I threw away my tarot deck. You didn't say how. He showed you that he was real, though. You also said, I threw away my sage crystals, astrology books, and I started feeling guilty for what I was doing. The Holy Spirit was convicting me to change. I think that's a typo. Once I read Isaiah 47, I realized it was all evil. Well, you got to read Leviticus because, and Deuteronomy, because God actually has a whole list of commandments that you're probably breaking. I'm assuming you probably, if you're a Christian, you do eat meat. God is very clear that that is breaking God's covenant. Now, when you break one of God's covenants, it is incumbent upon you to literally sacrifice a sheep. I suspect you've never sacrificed a sheep or any type of animal. You've never offered any burnt offerings to God, the God of Jesus, and supposedly. So make sure you throw away your bacon when you're throwing out all your tarot cards and your sage and all of that stuff too. And again, I just so everybody knows, I am a huge fan. I love Christians. I love everybody. I don't discriminate against anybody with their religion. And I am so much, I like anybody who believes in something and has some sort of divine practice and a faith and something like that. It's much better than just being, some vapid, materialist, and you just don't, you don't believe in anything. I think I just think it's sad and it's kind of a bummer. But again, if we're going to just claim that Jesus is somehow the end all be all, then we have to look where Jesus actually came from. Myth Vision podcast, if you guys are interested, the entire channel is nothing but digging into the Bible, in the Old Testament, New Testament, and dissecting it, from somebody who is basically like a Christian apologist point of view. And he started to read the Bible and started to look into some of these stories about Christ and how they were basically almost identical to some of the themes from the Greek myths and everything.
I read a book called The Five Initiates, and it was all the same story. It was all the Jesus story, all the same.
Yeah, they're all the
like
same story.
And it's just different cultures. It's just different things.
Yes. And now they're starting to find out, like they've been able to dissect like how many authors probably actually wrote the Bible. And it was much later. Now they're thinking it might have been like 200 to 300 CE, like way later than Christ supposedly lived. So there's a lot of information on it, but it's not a matter of cherry picking verses in the Bible and thinking that somehow now your beliefs are superior. You will notice that I never go around, probably, I mean, you can kind of tell by looking at me that I probably have some sort of Hindu beliefs and whatnot, but I don't go around telling everybody to practice tantrika. I don't, I don't like get into that because I don't care what anybody believes. I definitely don't. But I just want you to know, Emily, that John of Patmos, who supposedly wrote the Revelations, was an astrologer, as were, again, the three wise men that supposedly came to see. I say supposedly because there's no real evidence that any of this ever happened. So astrology was the science. This is not is not like from the devil. That's some pure nonsense that came.
Yes, the churches were all built over the zodiac circles. I mean, we see it in ancient archaeology. I mean, I think, if anybody can find a power and it calls to them and it settles, their soul, that's great. I think that's amazing. And it's not like I didn't have my own like coming to Jesus moment. I was after I had my second child, and I had such bad baby blues that I asked the doctor for a prescription, and I immediately had every bad reaction you could have, and I was like, okay, I gotta go this like the other, and I was like, I'm just gonna pray because that's all I knew, just pray about it. But eventually, I got into the churches and I tried different things, and I don't like being told to not like gay people because they don't know like that God hates them. And I think that's really weird. I think that's weird to say that you're in a religion that is all encompassing and all love, and then you don't like like gay people. Like,
well, that
love is love.
That's the Old Testament. And that's my point. If we're gonna say that the Old Testament is the Word of God, which I'm fine with, if you want to do that, then it has to be the Word of God, which means no bacon, no tattoos, no circumcision, or like you can't go without circumcision. Those are breaking God's covenants. And if homosexuality is that bad, we can't just cherry pick the stuff,
Yeah, like, that's what it is. It's like, let's cherry pick it and let's decide who we love and who we don't love. Let's create divisions and let's create problems so that people are always arguing and always in fear and always scared that some invisible man in the sky is going to come and smite them. Like, yeah, please, if that's, I don't want to pay bills anymore. You want to strike me down? I'm here. I've been waiting. I've been challenging, and I've been seeing that this is just a mechanism for control. So, and it's really weird, actually.
Emily said, Satan masquerade as an angel of light, Corinthians 11:14. Again, you're cherry picking verses. Remember, Satan doesn't want you to worship him. He wants you to worship yourself. He knows humans are self-centered naturally. Again, Satan in the Old Testament is not there was no supreme antithesis of the creator God, either El or Yahweh, whichever version you want to use. He was the creator. This idea that there's this omnipotent evil in opposition to an omnipotent God comes from Zoroastrianism. The God of Abraham had no opposite. It was only the God of Abraham. In which case, Satan was just one of many messengers of the Supreme. The whole concept of the fallen angels, this is all Apocrypha. It has nothing to do with the Old Testament. And again, some of this, I'm assuming, different books of the New Testament we're cherry picking which parts of the Bible we want to say are the Word of God and the ones that aren't. Emily, you got to read the Bible the whole way through. Start at the beginning, okay? And if you really want to take it to another level, try to look at it from at least the old original Greek versions, and then because things get lost in the translation, whatever language that you start to translate from, you're now dealing with a whole
now she's saying she's got to control it now too. So if you're going to use a direction is different than using the stars to decide your future and destiny, that's the difference. So I thought we couldn't use the stars at all. So don't look up. Don't read books, guys. Don't let anybody tell you the earth is round either, okay?
Right, that was heresy. That was at one point.
Did you know people were murdered? They were murdered in the Crusades for Jesus, in Jesus's name. The church murdered millions of people and told them that they're going to listen to this and they're going to do exactly as we say, or you're going to be destroyed. And they did, and they came and they destroyed everybody. So I have a really hard time putting like my chips behind something that, was forced on humanity in such an evil way. And you look at the way it's developed, and you look at the way that it's escaped all accountability. Like their priests can molest, they can rape, they can murder children and bury them in mass graves. And they still go without punishment. So when we look at the earth and we look at the world and we look at the religions of the world, is anything really pure and good and without evil? I mean, you're trying to control things, and you can't really control the chaos. I mean, it's mass chaos. And we try to compartmentalize things. We try to make things like a certain way so we can feel better. So we have some type of inner security about where we are and what we're doing. But the truth is, it's insane. There's chaos out there everywhere. I mean, it's just like the cosmos. There's shit just happening all the time, and it never stops. So like whatever story you got to tell yourself to like get grounded and get through life. I mean, fucking do it,
Yeah, for sure.
Jesus has saved you and you're doing
Which is
better.
Awesome. It's absolutely awesome.
Then fucking roll with it, sister, But I mean, trying to force other people to see you're in the wrong chat, okay? I'm not down with being told I'm I need Jesus. Like, I get it. I've been told, okay, 100 million times my cup of Christ is not full enough. I just keep spilling it. I guess. I don't know.
Yes. Again,
God bless you. You have your opinion and I have mine. So good thing
we live in lots of world. love and blessings to you. But it's just like if somebody's going to say like astrology or the debate between tropical and sidereal, like we have facts and evidence that we can point to, and if we're going to use something as a basis of an argument, like let's look at the facts too. Again, yes, Jesus absolutely can cure your cancer, save your life, but this is a global phenomenon. It's been going on long before. Like the entire Egyptian Book of the Dead is basically a compilation of all their spiritual experiences, and that was long before Jesus was around. So my point is, again, I love all my Christian brothers and sisters. No, you guys, if you don't know, like I was like this close from joining a convent. Like my love for God trumped all else and still does. But at the same time, like there's not just one God. There's the universe is, this vast thing. So let's.
Yeah, I have a really hard time with cherry picking who deserves love and who doesn't. I love every human being on this planet. Okay. Yeah. And I show them that when I listen to them talk and they come to me and they confess all of their sins, all their stories. They know that it's okay. You can come and talk to me anytime. You can come and tell me anything because I'm going to understand the human condition. We're all here. We're all in this shit and we ain't getting out anytime soon. We are in it. So it's difficult to, it's a difficult thing to try to make sense out of. Like, why am I here? What am I doing?
I don't think so.
Why? You don't think so?
No, I don't think
for
so.
Somebody who's, going through it, they might feel like, well, does my life have purpose anymore?
Yeah.
what am I doing wrong? And I mean,
But-
I had to reevaluate a bunch of times.
But transcendental meditation should, I would think, bring you, like, if you really go deep and it brings you to source, like, those answers come to you I would think very, very easy. Like, when people are in a state of peace and contentment, like, those aren't questions anymore. There's just a knowing, there's a sense of, like, there's purpose to everything. There's a, everything's happening exactly the way it's supposed to. That's not just my own experience. That's been, people in all different, from all different religions and all different parts of the world seem to come to something similar. And we see that too in near-death experiences, like there's a reason behind these things. So
yeah, I've never had a dead person say, "Oh my God, I should have never died." They never come and confess and say, "Oh my God, it really is Jesus. It really is all." They never come and say that stuff. It's always like something else. But
there are near-death experiences where people do meet Christ.
Near-death those are,
or the Buddha or Krishna. Like, it depends what you I think what spiritual language you speak, who you're going to get on the other side, that's going to make the most sense to you. And who do you want to see? Like, if you really love Jesus and you want to see Jesus, you're probably going to see Jesus. But if that's not, like, you're Hindu, you don't even speak that language, it's not going to make sense to you,
right? Then who's Jesus to you? You're like,
so it's irrelevant. So I think they give you who you need to see. They have you set you up with who you need to talk to at the time.
Yeah, you definitely have protection, divine protection. There's definitely, I think, angels around everybody at all times. I mean, we have a whole team that are with us all the time, watching, waiting, listening, just waiting for you to ask. Help me. Mine are sick of me, though. They're just like, oh.
They're not, Nikki. They're not.
You're like, stop crying.
You're like a reality show. They're probably cracking up most of the time.
Oh my God. I know. There's so many times I'm like, I better not be a cosmic joke. Better not be coming back there. You're all laughing at me.
I think that they have a good sense of humor, and I think that that's okay.
Yeah, I'm going to watch my life and I'm going to laugh. I'm going to laugh along with them. They're going to be like, we counted how many times you said you never wanted to come back here. We got it on a ticker, actually.
Yeah.
I think it's, I don't know. Religion is different. Religion got, I don't know.
Religion is government. That's why.
Exactly. It's authoritative. So my placements, guys, my Aries is in the 9th house and my Mars and Mercury are conjunct and live there. I've always challenged authority. I've always challenged the ideas of religion, religious beliefs. I mean, what can be proven, what cannot be proven. It doesn't make my opinion or my, way of thinking better or superior or anything. I just question it. It's like, why would I just throw all my chips into this, religion? I mean, the more I think about it, I'm kind of, I don't really believe there's just one God here at work. I mean, we're talking here, we're talking like polytheism. That's just my opinion. And that's all you're going to get. And that's all you really have, Emily, is an opinion. And that's cool too. And that's what we're.
Yeah, none of us can prove anything.
None of us can prove a thing. None of us can be like, this is the God, this is the way. And if you don't do it, you're fucked. Like, people have been saying that for hundreds.
Since Zoroastrianism, at least. That was the first real push to get people, which was a Persian religion. And again, this is where the whole dual good versus evil comes in for the first time that we know about in human society. And there was a concerted effort to demonize all of the other religions and their gods. That's where that whole concept comes from. And also to really try to convert people, There was this whole cult of Zoroaster who was also born of a virgin, I think there was some prophecy of his birth too. A lot of similarities to the which is fine. It's a common theme. And again, anything that helps you live a better life of joy and whatnot. But I'm with you, Nikki. Once you start like shitting on other people because you think that they're bad.
My family is very Catholic, very, very into Jesus. My cousin posts about Jesus every day. She is like, that's her guy. That's her guide. That's her man. That's who she prays to. And, she doesn't have a problem with me being me, and I don't have a problem with her being her. And I'm not against Jesus. I'm not against that. Right. I'm against a lot of the bad things that nobody's willing to point at and say, hey, what's up again, with the... Yeah. If that has more to do with the, actual organization, the actual
Jesus was known for, at least according to the stories, for hanging out with the tax collectors, the prostitutes. Mary Magdalene was a prostitute, some say that they had a very close relationship. So Jesus was not discriminating. I'm sure they had gay people back then too that, were probably around and they maybe didn't talk about it so much. Yeah.
They act like men dressing up as women is brand new. Like, holy shit. No, that ain't brand new, guys. That's been happening since the beginning of time. All right. Yeah. So it's time we accept it and stop pointing at things and people and saying, that's wrong. You can't live like that. We're a mess here. We're just a big glob of all different sorts of, wants and needs and desires and emotions. And
we're very complicated creatures.
Yeah. I mean, you can't barely categorize some people because they're so far out there. And I don't know. I think just being yourself and being you and using things like astrology as tools to help you rediscover yourself. I don't get how yoga's evil. I knew another girl.
Someone say yoga was evil? Did Emily say that?
Yeah. She was like, you gotta let go of yoga.
Oh, I missed that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yoga. I don't get physical activity isn't evil. All right. Stretching and thinking for yourself, getting deep inside your mind and feeling who it is that you really are in there. That's like soul tapping. You want to become and see the person or energy that you really are on the other side. That's the whole point, is to find that energy and combine it with the human experience that you're having right now. Like, who am I on the other side, and how much love do I have to give here? What am I doing to make the world a better place? And a lot of people don't want to look inside of themselves, because as soon as they see darkness, as soon as they see something that they're like, I don't like, they run the other direction, because they can't stand the fact that they may be like the things they hate. They may be like the people that they've cut down. I mean, these are things that we have to face. It's called shadow work.
Yes.
We have to face these things. We rip the mask right off and stare at it. Who are you, really? I had this conversation with a girl yesterday, and we both have it, effed up placements. I'm talking to her about her 11th house Pluto. That's what I was talking with her about. But we got off the conversation and we started talking about anger and violence and all the things that we really feel inside. Like, don't you just feel like you could just and we said some really awful things I would never even repeat here, because you'd probably be like, oh my God, I definitely don't want to ever follow Nikki again. But we were able to be really authentic with each other. We were able to look at each other and say, you know what? I felt that same way. I felt that way about this and that and the other thing. I've been able to experience darkness and express it and feel better about it, because I'm not going to sit and ignore the darkest parts of my psyche. I'm not going to sit and push back things that are coming to light because I'm scared or, this is evil. No, I mean, let's say you have thoughts that are not cool. Like, hey, why do I hate this person so much? Why do I feel like I could just, punch this person in the face? Like, just for an example.
Let's look at that instead of just being like,
let's look at that.
You have a demonic attachment. You're evil. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
Like, let's
you're not
actually
praying
look at
enough.
what's going on.
You're just
Right.
not praying. No, that's not how it is. Why do I feel this way? How can I calm down? What don't I understand about this other person that makes me want to hurt them? Or,
Or what is it
hurt
about
myself?
like, maybe is this a mirror situation where I am disgusted by an aspect of myself, like something I don't like inside of me, and I'm projecting it onto this other person. Yeah, like those emotions and thoughts, they're there for a reason. They're there to teach us.
Yeah,
Hayden
we
House
talk
says
about,
Jesus was a yogi, and I yeah, exactly.
yeah. Oh, I stopped reading. Yeah, no, I mean, like, that's okay. The whole, like, the shadow work, we like to say shadow work, and we just kind of glaze over it, but it's dirty. It's
Oh, yeah.
bad. I mean, you'll
Very.
find yourself screaming and crying naked on the floor, just freaking the fuck out. I mean, just fucking scratch, like, come on, that's shadow work, man. You have to push through it. Like, there are going to be things in your life that are going to happen to you that are dark and terrible, and it wasn't the devil. Okay, it wasn't some mysterious devil figure. These are just things that happen to us. We sign up to come here. We sign up to be here on Earth, and shit isn't going to go exactly as planned. Some of us don't get the yachts and the money.
Most don't get the yachts.
Yeah, most. I'm going to tell you, most.
Percentage of the yachts.
I swear they saved that for the newbies. They're like, hey,
I think they do too. Like, let's make this as easy as possible. You're going to be beautiful. You're going to be rich. Everything's going to be super easy for you this time around.
Yeah, and by the time you leave here and you're done with all your incarnations on Earth, you're probably poor as hell, but full of all the wisdom, full of all of the knowledge, and had all the experiences. And you walk out with just the nothing.
Yeah. And I see like those
lifetime.
people, like severely handicapped, and I'm like, so if you guys don't know, I'm a Kashmiri Shaivite. It's a whole thing. I won't bore you with it, but basically I view everyone as God, like not just a little version, but like a real version of like just God in different states of awareness of Godhood. Okay. But like when I see those people, I just think of like, no, this is like, this person is Shiva. This is like this is high advanced. They're not here suffering with bad karma. They're not getting punished. This is somebody who's like a spiritual master to a degree that I couldn't even come close to, no matter what type of work I was doing. But I think that like
I got goosebumps when you said all that. Like, just goosebumps, because you're right. Oh my God, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta be like a spiritual master, like on a different level to come here and be like, no, I'm doing this.
Oh yeah, I haven't mastered anything yet. I don't even think I hang out on Earth that often. I don't know.
Or like one of those,
I must be new here.
Those people that get stuck in one of those comas, I know it's only a very small percentage, but the comas where like they think that you're a vegetable, you can't hear or see anything, but really you're like seeing and feeling everything. You just can't communicate it. Like, that's a different level too. You're playing the game on extreme expert level. Yeah,
you're right. Yeah, being alive on this planet right now in this world, it's wild. We got so much going on, and it's always been that way. I mean, you mentioned World War II. People thought it was the end of the world. Yeah. They really thought this was it, and they were quoting the Bibles, and they're like, "Oh my God!" And this leader is the Antichrist, and they had it all figured out, and they keep doing that's on repeat. I don't know. I think Trump is the savior right now.
Well, that's what some people.
Or is he the Antichrist? Who knows?
There'll always be another one.
Stories. It was
Napoleon. It was, there's always somebody. It's always somebody else.
Yeah. I don't discount, the spiritual magic that comes with having any type of spiritual awakening. Because I've had quite a few myself where I've experienced different energies coming in where I'm like, oh my God, this is real. This makes me feel so loved, so incredible, and so amazing. If that comes in the form of Jesus to a person, then that's awesome. But I draw the line where it's like, well, you can't be telling me what to do because that happened to you. Like, that's great, and I support it. But don't come and tell me how to live. That's your religion, honey, not my religion. So,
yes, I'm with you.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm more polytheist, though. I haven't really decided. I'm connected to the spirit world, and there's just so much over there that you cannot put into words. That over there, I talk about it like it isn't just right here, right now.
Right.
Like it's next to it, like it's all around us.
Right.
So it's hard to put anything and to verbalize it and say, this is the way it is. And this is it, because nobody knows. I don't even know, even with my like feelings of deep connection to, source and my team and like my spiritual, path. I couldn't say that this is it and that's it. And this is how it is, but each person is going to reach a different conclusion because each person is vibrating a different energy. Yeah. And they need something different. Everybody needs something different. I don't think the criminal who, has done drugs and dealt drugs and killed people needs to be told that they're evil and that they're going to hell. I mean, I don't think the whole point is, they were probably abused and told that they were nothing to begin with. I think what that person needs is love and being shown like, hey, you deserve love. You're a drug addict and you're ashamed and you end up living homeless on the street. Do they need to be told they're a sinner and they're going to go to hell? No, they need love and attention and they need somebody to, encourage them to love themselves too and help a little bit.
Is also mental illness.
Mental illness. I mean, we deal with a lot of that in our society. Our society is really full of, well, I don't know. The United States, we hand like antidepressants out like crazy. I mean, I talked a little bit about my daughter and the issues we had with her. And she, wanted to go to counseling. And I was like, I'm so down for you to go to counseling. Like, let's do it. And we get there and she has her appointments and we hit the second appointment and her therapist wants to put her on Adderall. And I'm like, what about my daughter talking to her made you believe that she needs Adderall in order to get through her day? What was it? And she made a comment. It wasn't a good comment. We ended up getting into quite the discussion about drugs and drug use and the beginnings of drug use and how a lot of it begins with the pharmaceuticals that they're given when they're children. And she wanted to sit and argue with me. No, people who are on Adderall their whole lives don't end up smoking crack, don't end up turning to meth when they get the medication taken away. As a matter of fact, I've seen a lot of it happen. They can't get back on Vyvanse, or they can't get back on something that has speed. They go and they find it. I said, you've talked to my daughter twice, and you've come to the conclusion that she needs Adderall. Do you know that she doesn't sleep at night because she's sitting up on her phone?
Yeah, that'll do it too.
At school, paying attention because she isn't getting enough sleep at night. And then at the end of this argument, she said to me, well, the insurance company needs her to be on something in order for these to be covered. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to see her anymore. And that was the last time I brought her. My daughter was like, what the hell was that? I thought I was talking to somebody that cared. I was able to hook her up with a spiritualist in the sidereal community. But those appointments were just too expensive for me to pay out of pocket for. So, she got a lot out of those 2 sessions. I believe she had 2 sessions with this person. It was incredible. And we got down to a lot of things. And guess what? No drugs involved. Yeah. I don't believe we should be medicating children because they have, issues
feelings.
And problems. Feelings. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, you're experiencing emotions. We're going to put an end to that.
Yeah.
Here's some drugs.
Yeah.
I was just kind of like, oh my God. I just couldn't believe the experience I had with modern medicine. And I continued to have that experience, even going to try to get counseling myself, So I prefer to see metaphysical practitioners for counseling. I don't like modern medicine. They're pharmaceutical companies that are talking to you, not the actual practitioners. So I don't know how I got off on that tangent. I don't know where I was going with that.
No, people need in support and love and whatnot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Life coaches get a lot of shit for kind of being, there's a ton of them and not all of them. But in that situation, I would definitely go talk to somebody like that, even like at this point, well before, going the medication route, because that's they just assume if you're going to talk to them, you want to be put on something.
Yeah.
Not always the solution. Now, sometimes it is. You guys, full disclosure.
Yeah, sometimes it really is. Sometimes it is. In that sense, it wasn't. And I know lots of people who are on medications and they are better.
I did 6 months of Zoloft, and I was maxed out on it. And I had a macaw before I moved here because I couldn't bring him with me. They wouldn't let him. But he bit me this one day, which he didn't really bite. But this day he happened to bite. Now macaws can bite your fingers right off, and he's biting me, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm not feeling anything. This should really hurt. Like it was really bad. I'm like, I think this is probably, if it's dulling my pain receptors that much, God knows what else is dulling. But it was great. It gave me. I had like a 6-month span where I just didn't feel crazy. And it gave me like a reference point to use to be like, okay, I think if I, titrate off of this. And I asked the doctor, I'm like, what do you think about this? He's like, well, this is what happens. You start feeling normal and then you go off the meds and you start getting crazy again. Well, he didn't say it like that. I'm paraphrasing, obviously.
Yeah.
But it didn't, because I actually really wanted to heal myself. And I went off of it slowly, but it really did. I don't know that I would have made the progress that I did. I mean, you guys, I dealt with agoraphobia for 7 years. I mean, that's a long time to like not drive a car and be, go out and be a person.
Yeah. My niece is experiencing that right now. She has barely left the house in the last definitely over a year. And my daughter just started taking an antidepressant medication, my oldest daughter, because of all the changes and all the stuff going on. She's having a hard time adjusting.
Yeah, and that's it.
She felt so bad. She's like asking me, and I'm like, honey, if you feel like you need it, then do it. I'm talking about like when I get upset about it, it's just like in that situation, like I'm taking my kid to you to talk to her, to be to talk, not to prescribe. Like that would be on the agenda then, but having to fight with somebody about it really kind of bothered me.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, I think there's a shift. I think there's a shift, and I think we're moving back towards that. I think it's a pendulum, and we're going to start doing more natural treatment.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I do astrology, because I like to counsel, and astrology is just another counseling tool too. So
that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
You guys, I had fun. Thanks. Who was it? It was Emily. Emily, I love talking about that stuff. So I'm so glad that you popped in, because I had fun. It's fun to talk about that stuff. So thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who's in the chat with us today. Amanda, we did talk about the full moon in Libra. So I think it was a little bit in the middle. Yeah. So you want to
I got side questions.
Yeah, we go off on lots of side quests. Caden Houses, who else was in here chat with? Lorna. Thank you, everybody who joined us today. Again, no show next week. I'm going to be in Moscow. Nikki's taking the week off, and she very much needs it. So we'll be back, though, the following week. So you guys have a great full moon. Take very good care of yourselves.